else right now.
Well, well, well.
What do you know?
It has been a very, very
long time.
Very long time since, what was the last movie review we did? I couldn't even tell you, but I could tell you it's definitely been...
At least a year.
Over a year.
Over
a year. You know, my life is like in terms of relationships, and I know that in my last relationship I did not do a single movie review.
So it's been more than a year.
That relationship just sucked the life out of me.
No reviews.
No reviews. No reviews. So we're back.
With 3.
I can't say that we're back weekly or anything because we don't have money to see movies all the time anymore.
If you want.
But if you're tuning in, I'm Rob Zeman, and this is...
I'm Sean Hillary.
And if you've already seen us before, I'm Rob Zeman, and this is...
Sean Hillary, I mean, if you want.
If you want. So, okay, yeah, we actually... 3 films.
Yeah.
3 films in this week. That's abnormal for late, because we're poor. And
Correct.
I only paid for 1 of them.
Yes.
Movie screenings.
They
For your
help.
health.
You know.
Okay.
If you want.
First movie
was... Oz.
Oz, the Great and Powerful. I know the director of this.
Yeah.
This I do not have to guess or ask you. Sam Raimi.
Correct.
And this has got Sam Raimi written all in it.
All
up in it. Not all over it, but all in it.
All in it.
This is, I mean, this is a prequel to
Yes.
The Wizard of Oz that we all know from the 1938. That they can't say as a prequel per se because Disney and MGM are separate companies.
Yep.
But it is indeed a prequel.
Yes. This is Oz coming to...
This is the story of how
The Wizard
of Oz gets to
Oz.
And I must say that I went into this very skeptical.
I
mean, the
both
trailer
did,
kind of
yeah.
looks cool, you know. But it
It
also
has that Alice in Wonderland
You
vibe.
stole the words out of my mouth. It's got that Alice in Wonderland Tim Burton remake sequel vibe.
And that...
in the trailer and all.
It's a grade A piece of shit.
However, I went into this going, I don't know, we'll see. And I, personally, loved it.
I liked it a lot. It was good.
Nah, that's not saying it's not without its flaws. I think the biggest... Well, we'll talk about good things first. What did you like about it, without spoiling too much?
Well, one, that it has the Sam Raimi style, which is always nice.
Close up, real quick.
Point of view shots.
A lot of suspense and thriller.
Weirdness.
Creatures.
Yeah.
Good makeup effects as well as the CGI.
The CGI was all really good too.
It was.
It looks great.
I saw it, and you and I saw it separately. I
Yes.
saw it on the IMAX 3D.
I saw just standard 3D.
But I know on at least on the IMAX 3D, it was pretty awesome looking. It opens just to keep in vein. Well, I love how it can't be a prequel and related to the other one, but to keep in vein with it, it starts as a full frame. You know, what 4:3? Frame picture. It's not. I can't say it's black and white. It's kind of got that little sepia tone to it that the original had too.
Mm-hmm.
But the style of it and the music. Danny Elfman does the music, which lately, like he's hit or miss because he's been involved with the Tim Burton films.
This is his first movie with Raimi's Spider-Man 2.
And it's good.
It is good.
And but the opening with the full frame black and white and all sepia is very classic. I would say very in the vein of the original movie. And it doesn't feel Hollywood cheesy. It feels like that old... I mean, that's kind of a contradiction itself, but it's like, the old style, you know, guy and girl, love story, but, you know, a little bit of wackiness, but not like over-the-top wackiness.
Yeah. It's good.
I could talk about this for a while, but
yeah.
We have 3 movies to cover. What I didn't... Like, what I think maybe would have been the weak points of it, originally Robert Downey Jr. was supposed to play... the part of Oz, and I think knowing that kind of maybe made Franco not as good to me.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
And now that you say it, I remember hearing it, but I didn't remember it.
While I was watching, I was thinking that. But Franco did a good job.
He did.
Mila Kunis is probably the weak link of it.
She's not terrible, though.
She's not terrible. There's a couple of emotional scenes of hers that are clearly like she wasn't quite finding it.
No.
But overall, though, the story's great.
A lot of callbacks to the original.
A lot of callbacks to the original, and it it leaves room for, this doesn't lead right into the Wizard of Oz from 1938. This leads into another piece that I believe they're moving forward with.
Yeah.
So this will technically kind of be like a trilogy, even though the third one is not involved.
Until Disney remakes.
Until Disney remakes it.
Of course.
Which I don't think they can because they don't own the rights to.
Who knows?
I don't know.
If you want.
So overall, I would give this out of 5. I would give this 4.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. 3.5, 4, right in there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So check out. It's been in theaters. We wanted to do this one first because this has been in theaters for a week at least.
Yeah.
So check it out if you get time.
Very surprising.
If you can, spring for the 3D because I thought this was actually really good. The 3D actually, when it's doing the full frame stuff, the 3D stuff comes out of the full frame into the black, which is pretty cool, like the fire and the snow and stuff like that. So check that out.
It's a very pretty movie.
I'll let you set up the next film.
The next film is the incredible Burt Wonderstone, directed by Don Scardino.
Who has directed
episodes of 30 Rock.
That's it?
He's done a lot of TV work and not a whole lot of movies.
It's a fun name to say, Don Scardino.
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 You gotta say Scardino.
Scardino.
So, okay.
Yeah, pretty much he's just done a bunch of TV.
I was really looking forward to this because of the posters and all that they've had in the theaters.
That's Steve Carell and Jim Carrey.
Steve Carell, Steve Buscemi, not John Goodman, James Gandolfini.
Yes.
John Goodman's in another film coming up that I keep seeing.
I'm sure, because he's in like everything.
He's like in a lot of things. But, yeah, but basically it's the story about a little boy who becomes a magician to quit being bullied.
Yeah.
And basically becomes a bully.
Yes.
But Steve Buscemi is his childhood friend. They grow up together and they become magical partners. I don't know how I could say that without sounding gay.
I think that's the point of it.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of like latent homosexual tones to it.
Yes.
But as he gets older, you know, he becomes a has-been, and there's a Jim Carrey. Now, Jim Carrey in the trailer is kind of predominant. However, in the movie, he's not a cameo. He's bigger than a cameo, but he's not like a supporting.
It's a minor role.
Yeah, I would have to say he's maybe in like 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, he has a few scenes
sprinkled throughout,
and they're all really good.
Yeah, Jim Carrey's kind of where I want him to be at again.
Yes.
I want, like, I didn't hate Mr. Popper's Penguins and like Yes Man and all, but I kind of want that raunchy, really weird and dark sense of humor of his to come back. And there was definitely some glimpses of that in this. Now, also Steve Carell, Steve Buscemi, and Alan Arkin was also in it. What's the lead actress's name?
Olivia Wilde.
Olivia Wilde. They're all really great in it, and the story's funny. As far as comedies go, it wasn't forgettable. It's not forgettable, but it's not like...
You're not laughing every second, but
you're not going to quote it a million times or anything like that.
It definitely has a few really good laughs in it.
Yeah.
And it's perfectly fun to watch.
It's PG-13. I think it pushes the envelope on that a few times.
Yes.
Not for sexual jokes so much, but as far as just crude humor, I would say. But I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, so did I. It was a lot of fun to watch.
I'll probably watch it one more time.
With that cast, it's kind of hard for me not to enjoy it.
Yeah,
if you have all
those
people
too.
in one movie.
Steve Carell was really good in it, and Jim Carrey was like the thing that pulled me in, though. Not to lie.
What he's gonna do with Kick-Ass 2 as well.
Yes, Kick-Ass 2 trailer debuted last week, and that looks great. He looks like a character he doesn't normally play. He's got a very American voice. General Stars and Stripes, right? I think that's kind of how it sounds. So, okay, overall, comedy-wise, I'm probably going to say out of 5, 3, maybe 3.5. Like I said, it's not memorable, but it's definitely not like Talladega Nights. I know a lot of people like Talladega Nights.
You are not a fan.
I am not a fan of Talladega Nights. Like, and that doesn't mean I don't like that improv comedy, but like Step Brothers is one of my top for quotable and watch again and again and again. Got nothing else on. But Talladega Nights is just not one of those movies. That ranks up there with like Semi-Pro as like bad movies to me.
It's just Will Ferrell movies.
Yeah. No,
I know.
It's kind of the same. You know, it takes an aspect of life, basketball, or race car driving. This is magicians, you know, and they kind of go with it. Although this doesn't have the feeling like it's completely improv. I think
I think a lot of this.
If this had been Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, it would have been completely ridiculous improv, like run-on dialogue. And if it had been a Judd Apatow movie, it would have been depressing
2.5 hours
and boring. It's a stab at This Is 40. If you didn't.
For your dumb.
For your dumb.
I don't want to see that sequel about his kids.
Neither do I.
I don't want that movie.
The final film is actually, it's not released wide. I think it might be
slowly
in limited
coming
theaters.
out. Yeah, I think it's only in the indie theater around here right now.
Definitely check out the trailer. I'll try to link it below. But the trailer alone really pumped me before I even found out
who was behind it.
Who was behind it.
This is Stoker, directed by Chan-wook Park, who you may know from as the director of Oldboy, because I word that really awkwardly.
Now, did he direct the entire
Vengeance trilogy?
The Vengeance trilogy. That's Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and Lady Vengeance. They're very gory Japanese? Korean films.
I believe. Don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure.
Don't hold us to that. But Oldboy is by far the best of that trilogy, in most people's opinions. The cinematography, the story. He has a very dark, weird, cinematic way of telling things.
Yes.
And this is the story of a girl named India Stoker.
Correct.
And her father has recently died in an accident, an unexplainable accident. And her mother, played by Nicole Kidman. What's the girl's name that plays India?
I have to look.
You look it up. The mother is Nicole Kidman, and the father, who just passed away's brother, played by
Matthew Good.
Matthew Good, who's also in one of my favorite films, A Serious. Single Man.
Single Man.
It's not A Serious Man, A Single Man. He comes to stay with them, and he's a very transparent, evil character. I'm not ruining anything there. Once you check
if you watch the trailer, you know something's up with them.
There's a weird relationship between this family, and there's a very weird dynamic between the characters. Now, I've read some other reviews of this film that do not speak highly of it because they say that the story is very transparent, and that the direction of the story is very transparent, as in very predictable. And I would totally agree with that. There are a lot of the root parts of this film. Wow, we ran on for a little long there.
Yes, we did.
So I had to... You're going to see a blip. What I was saying was, I was in some really
You were in
deep,
an emotional
connection with this. A lot of reviews that I've read have said that it wasn't good because the story is very transparent. They've said that that the direction of the film, the outcome of the film, a lot of it is very predictable. And I wouldn't disagree with that completely.
But it's all done so well.
I can't say that just because it's done well that it's good. I still think that it is very enjoyable to watch.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, we all watch a Batman movie knowing that Batman is going to beat the Joker up.
Yeah.
And we know how he's going to become Batman. And
does it ruin that Batman movie? No.
And I'm not saying that the Stoker character is the equivalent of, like, that much of prior knowledge. I mean, it's just, you know, it's a weird family story.
It's a weird thriller.
But the cinematography in it is probably some of the best cinematography I've seen from a movie thus far this year.
Yes.
As far as, like...
Very good music.
You know, like we were talking about Oz earlier and all, but it's like, that's a different type of cinematography. Like, the director has a style, and I mean, this director has a style too, but this is very beautiful cinematography. Very, very well-chosen shots. And you just mentioned music. I had not known prior to going into this, until like right before that, the music is Clint Mansell, who has done Black Swan, Requiem for a Dream, The Fountain. Just an amazing composer, and it really shows in this too because there are some musical selections that are like very key to the story, and really drive a lot of the cinematography in certain scenes.
Very, very good. The actress that plays India is named Mia Wachowski, and she was actually Alice in Alice in Wonderland.
Well, there goes the time. Look, it all comes full circle.
It all comes together.
However, her performance in this
was very good.
Was very good, and she was not a pale, blonde-haired child.
No.
Like she was in Alice in Wonderland, and she is a pale,
dark-haired
child, but who is mentally very dark.
Yes.
Compared to Alice.
Yes.
I definitely need to. This is a movie I need to watch again. This is a movie that I won't say it's going to be in my top, but it is definitely going to be a film I look back on and remember.
For so far this year, it's at the top for me.
Okay. Well, there hasn't been much this year.
That's why it's there.
I mean, I would say that too, but I just wouldn't boast to say that it's in my top overall.
Oh, I can't say
like I said,
that.
The film does have some drawbacks, that being the predictable plot. Like, if it were completely unpredictable, I imagine that I would fell in love even more with it. If it had really surprised me and shocked me. And if it hadn't been as... there are some slow parts.
Yes. There are some slow parts, but I mean, all the acting is really top-notch. I think everyone in it's really good.
There's a very unsettling way it's edited, too. There are very awkward editing choices that
just make you more uneasy.
Yes. And the music, there are some wavering, out-of-tune fluctuations, where some might, like, we have talked about this in the past with, like, Shutter Island, where there are poor editing choices to make you uneasy or whatever, but they just felt like poor editing choices. Whereas this, they're poor editing choices on purpose.
Yes.
And you can definitely tell, because as a meticulous director and editor that they are.
And with editing, this movie has some amazing transitions.
Yes. Yes, there's...
As long as, with uneasy editing, there's also amazing transitional shots that are just...
And it's really uneasy in general. The whole story is kind of... There are two scenes in particular. A shower scene, which I won't go into, and a playground, I guess is the best way to summarize that scene.
Yeah.
Those two scenes are two scenes that, as far as cinema uncomfortableness, they hit you pretty hard.
Yeah.
If anybody has seen, there's something we need to talk about Kevin. Is it?
Yes.
There's something we need to talk about Kevin, or
we need to talk about
Kevin. That movie, I would compare. There's at least one or two scenes in that. So if you've seen that, you kind of know what I'm saying, where it's very unsettling.
Like,
and it sticks with you.
I've been thinking about it afterwards. They said it very much has a vibe of a Hitchcock movie, but more messed up.
It's funny because some of the reviews I've read have said that it tries to be Hitchcock and it falls flat.
I don't think it does.
I don't think it tries to be Hitchcock. I think it just so happens to have some of the nuances that a Hitchcock film has.
Like some of the story and like family relationships and weirdness and stuff.
And some of the music and the way it's stripped. But it's not. It's this guy, and it's the director's first American languaged film.
True.
And I hope there's more.
I agree.
I do.
He's a good director. He's a good style.
Overall, for this film, I'm going to give a 4.5 out of 5. The cinematography is the strongest part to me, and the music the second piece.
I'll just keep copying you. 5, 4.5 if you want.
If you have to.
That's how I feel.
So what do we have coming up in the upcoming weeks?
Let's take a look. This is really fun for the viewers to see me look at my phone.
Right?
Find out.
Way to be prepared.
What's coming out? Well, I'm sorry. I didn't know we were going to be doing this. But next week, there's The Croods.
Oh, The Croods. I saw a trailer today with that.
It's funny?
And, oh yeah. Nick Cage in CG form.
I can't wait.
Screaming and yelling about fire and things biting him. And
it's going to be gold.
It's going to be great. What else we got?
We got that G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe, where Bruce Willis actually plays the character of G.I. Joe.
Die Hard in the White House.
That is called...
The Olympus Has Fallen.
Olympus Has Fallen. I'm not really looking forward to that.
No, I think the next one we're probably looking forward to is Evil Dead.
Oh, yes, Evil Dead.
Mm-hmm.
We'll try to get you an early review of that as well.
Yes. See what we can do about that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll try to keep doing these a little bit more now.
Yeah.
Things I think have calmed down in our lives for the most part. And if you guys, express interest, we'll try to do it more. But if you guys don't express interest, I just don't feel like doing it.
So, yeah, if you want it, just let us
know. Here's an old boot. Actually, here's 2 of them.
Yes!
Ready?
What?
That brings me back.
Yeah, man. That is going back. If you want.
Alright. Till next time, remember, I'll be watching.
For your health.